The 2016 iPhone was released without the usual fanfare of iPhone launches. Perhaps that's due to the lack of a major, obvious design change. But that doesn't mean that this iPhone lacks meaningful changes that really improve the iPhone experience. So how do these improvements add up? Here's my full review of the iPhone 7 Plus. Like all iPhones before it, the iPhone 7 Plus feels extremely high quality and well made, with its beautiful aluminum and glass design. The 7 Plus has opted for a similar design to the last two iterations of iPhone, but that isn't a bad thing at all, because the design is really quite nice, with its rounded corners and smooth edges. It really is a wonderful form for a rectangular piece of metal and glass, albeit a bit slippery in the hands without a case. It's really thin and pretty light as well. The ugly antenna bands from the previous generation have been removed, giving a smooth, solid aluminum back and providing a more uniform look. I have the black color here, which looks excellent, especially with the black bezel that blends into the rest of the aluminum frame. It's really completely black throughout, giving it a slick and stealthy look. The headline color for this iPhone is the glossy jet black model, which also looks excellent, but was extremely hard to get right at launch. Of course, there's also silver, gold, and rose gold available as well. This iPhone is the first to be water resistant. It's rated IP67, which means it's also dust resistant and water resistant to 1 meter or 3.28 feet for 30 minutes. This is more of a protective feature than a go use your iPhone in the pool type thing, but it's a great feature to have and lets you not worry about your new device if it's around water. Taking a look around the device, we have the power button on the right side, volume buttons and mute switch on the left side, new solid state home button on the front, stereo speakers on the front and bottom, and also a lightning port on the bottom. Oh, and there's also no headphone jack. While some have made a big fuss over this omission, for me it hasn't been a big deal at all. Apple includes lightning earpods, as well as an adapter for using headphones via the lightning port, and additional adapters are only $9. Plus, there's Bluetooth headphones, which I found are much more convenient than typical plug-in headphones. The only downside I've found is you do need an adapter if you want to charge and use plug-in headphones or speakers at the same time, which is kind of annoying in the car. However, the speakers on this iPhone are so good, and I can easily use them if I really need to charge and still want to listen in the car. Seriously, these speakers are excellent. The upgrade to stereo is a huge improvement, and for watching video and listening to music, it's really great and a lot more enjoyable than on previous iPhones. The new home button on the iPhone 7 Plus is solid state, so it doesn't actually click down when you press it. Instead, it vibrates using the Taptic engine to simulate a click. For the most part, it does a great job of simulating just that. It does take a bit of getting used to, but after using it for a while, the old home button now kind of feels weird. This also helps with the waterproofing and is one less thing that can break, which is nice. It's also an important preparation for future iPhones which could lack a physical home button. Of course, there's Touch ID built into this home button as well, so you can unlock your iPhone with your fingerprint as well as use Apple Pay, fill in passwords, and more through third-party apps. It's super fast at reading your print too, which is very convenient. Now let's talk about size. This is a big phone, mainly because of its large screen. The iPhone 7 Plus has a 5.5-inch 1920 by 1080 Full HD display. This display has better color with its wide color gamut and is brighter than the previous generation. But really, what you're likely most concerned about when buying the 7 Plus is its overall size. How does it feel in your hands and pockets? I had these same concerns coming from a 4.7-inch iPhone 6, and I can happily report that I've adjusted really well. For me, I can still use the 7 Plus with one hand, which was a big deal for me. It is a stretch at times to reach the corners, and oftentimes I have to reposition it in my hand, but it really isn't an issue, and to be honest, using two hands isn't really a problem in most cases. However, I will warn you, if you do really value simple, easy, one-handed usage, you should probably go for the regular iPhone 7 and not this one. In terms of pocketability, I have no problems fitting this in my jeans or shorts. It does feel bigger sometimes in my pockets than my iPhone 6, but not anything too bad. However, if you do have smaller pockets, it may not fit, and you may end up having to carry this in a bag. You really have to weigh the sacrifices when deciding if this bigger iPhone is for you. It didn't take me long at all to adjust to the larger iPhone, and I'm very glad that I chose it. The benefits of the larger screen are obvious. Everything you do is bigger and just overall nicer on the 5.5-inch screen. Reading news is better, browsing the web is better, typing is roomier, video is much more immersive, the camera viewfinder is nicer, and you get additional software features in landscape mode. You get the idea. It's an overall better experience than a smaller screen. The only sacrifice is the bigger physical size, and if you're like me and aren't bothered by it, then the larger iPhone is absolutely worth it. Besides its larger screen, the 7 Plus also has additional camera features compared to the smaller 7. Its headline feature is the dual camera sensor with not one but two 12-megapixel sensors, one normal and one telephoto. You can quickly switch between these two lenses with a tap and instantly jump to 2x optical zoom. You can also go up to 10x digital zoom, although as expected shots come out quite blurry at max digital. This second zoom lens enables you to get closer to stuff without actually moving, and also allows some great macro shots. There's also a cool portrait mode which uses this telephoto lens and blurs the background using software to produce a depth of field effect. Because it is software doing the work and not an actual depth of field blur, it isn't always perfect, but overall it works really well, and in many cases the photos are downright outstanding, and seriously rivaling DSLR. If you're still undecided on the size, this extra lens and the features it enables could be enough to push you to the 7 Plus. Now the normal lens is exactly the same as the regular iPhone 7, and it is improved over last year's. It's a 12 megapixel sensor with a wider aperture, wide color gamut, improved low light performance, and better performance overall. Images are sharp and clear with vibrant colors. There's also a new quad LED True Tone flash here. You can also take live photos, which were introduced last year on the iPhone 6s. They're kind of like GIFs with sound, and they're a cool and fun way to capture the moment along with the picture, but they're not for all situations. On the video side, we have 4K video at 30 FPS, see this card for a full resolution look at that, and also 1080p at 30 or 60 FPS. And don't forget about the all-important selfie or FaceTime camera, which has been upgraded to 7 megapixels and can shoot full 1080p HD video, which is great for vlogging. It can also use the screen as a flash for low-light selfies, a really nice and cool feature. The 7 Plus produces some amazing images that can honestly rival professional shots. If you want a smartphone with an excellent camera, this is it. Not only can it preserve your memories with great results, it can also serve as a legitimate photography tool for hobby or even professional use. Check out some more of these sample shots for an example at just how great the 7 Plus camera is. The iPhone 7 Plus boasts a super powerful A10 Fusion chip, which is a quad-core processor that has 2 low-performance and 2 high-performance cores, which it intelligently switches between depending on the task you're doing. This results in higher efficiency and also helps battery life. There's 3GB of RAM on here, which is 1GB more than the regular iPhone 7. This means you can keep apps open in the background and quickly switch to them without a lot of reloading, a very nice thing to have. Opening apps is really quick and everything is just nice and smooth overall, except for a weird glitch that causes the app closing animation to stutter. It looks really weird compared to other iOS devices, but it's supposedly caused by the new home button. It's really nothing to worry about though, and hopefully will be fixed in a software update soon. Apart from that caveat, the iPhone 7 Plus is fast and smooth and should be for years to come. The iPhone 7 Plus is running iOS 10, which was released in September of 2016. It includes several improvements to notifications, messages, and photos. However, if you have a recent iPhone, you probably already have downloaded iOS 10 and have these features already. Of course, these features all work great on the 7 Plus, and overall, iOS is a great mobile operating system. It's very stable and secure and has a huge selection of third-party apps in the App Store. There are also some nice features built into the iOS experience on here. 3D Touch, which was introduced last year, allows you to press firmly on the display to activate quick actions, preview stuff, and access various shortcuts throughout iOS. It's a nice feature to have, but not necessarily a must-have. Once you do get used to it, however, it's helpful in specific ways, like using it on the keyboard to make it a trackpad when typing. Super helpful. The Taptic Engine was also introduced last year, but its use has been expanded throughout the user interface here on the 7 Plus. For example, when swiping up to activate Control Center, you'll feel a very light tap. The same goes when swiping down on Notification Center. It also activates every time you use 3D Touch. You'll also feel subtle taps or vibrations as you scroll through multiple menu options. It's features like these that demonstrate the superb hardware and software integration of Apple and the iPhone. Another reason to go for the larger iPhone over the smaller one is its larger battery. Battery life should easily last you a full day. I typically am able to go from around 9 or 10 in the morning to 12 at night without it going below 10%. Of course, this varies depending on what you're doing, and I would say my usage is pretty mixed, but you should be able to get a full day's use without having to plug in during the day. In terms of actual usage according to Apple's battery settings, I get around 8 or more hours per charge, typically. Also, I usually run the latest iOS 10 public betas when they are out, so that can affect battery life too, so I wouldn't really use my examples as the standard. Generally, this phone has a big battery, and you should have no problems getting through a full day with it. The battery is great. The 7 Plus starts at $769 for the 32GB version, and goes up $100 for each subsequent storage configuration, 128GB and 256GB. This is expensive, but actually comparable to other premium smartphones like this. So should you buy the iPhone 7 Plus? To be honest, this year's iPhone is in kind of an awkward spot. Last year's iPhones were really fast and have received all of the new iOS 10 features, so there's not much reason to upgrade if you own one of those. Even the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus from 2 years ago still performed pretty well and received most of the new iOS 10 features. On top of that, next year's iPhone is rumored to have a major 10th anniversary size design overhaul, so many are deciding to just wait till next year for that. Where does that leave the iPhone 7 Plus? Well, to really appreciate this iPhone, you kind of have to think of it just by itself. The 7 Plus is obviously the best iPhone yet, but it features more subtle changes and improvements. However, subtle as they may seem, these changes really do improve the iPhone experience, and also lay the groundwork for future iPhone models. Who knows how next year's iPhone will look or feel, it may be drastically different, new, and exciting. If you have an iPhone that works and you're happy with it, I would recommend waiting for next year's model. However, technology is always changing and there will always be something new around the corner, so if you want or need a great phone now, the 7 Plus is an excellent choice and one of the best smartphones on the market today. After using it for 3 months, I can highly recommend it as a very solid smartphone buy. This has been my iPhone 7 Plus review. I really hope you guys have enjoyed it and found it helpful. Be sure to comment and let me know what you thought of the video and what you think about the iPhone 7 Plus. Leave a big thumbs up if you liked the video, and subscribe if you're not already so you don't miss out on any future geeky content like this. God bless, have a great day, and bye for now.